Okay, welcome replay viewers, and good morning everybody. And I'm down here to look at our purple martin colony, and I see we have more arrivals today. So this is the northeast house quadrant. There's about a half a dozen or more sitting up on this house. And let me pan around to the other two houses. So far, knock on wood, we're having a halfway decent purple martin season. And these are not the second year birds, which would be here for their first nesting season this year. They probably won't arrive until about the middle of the month or start arriving there. In other words, birds who were born in this area last summer. Let's take a walk over here to these two houses. And there they go. They'll fly around and then they'll fly back to the house. Thank you for joining. Welcome. North America's largest swallow, the purple martins, depended upon housing provided by humans now, since most of their natural habitat, nesting area, has disappeared. Aerial insectivores who do 99% of their feeding on the fly, taking insects out of the air as they fly. And we provide the housing for them. Thank you for joining. So the martins are starting to pair up now for the breeding season. If I can get a little closer view for you. No, they'll stay there. The male purple martin is the dark colored bird. It looks like it's black, but it's an iridescent purple color. The females have a grayish chest. So these are what we call the mature birds, or after second year birds. Birds in third year and beyond. And they will nest in the cavities that we see in the houses here. The wooden houses, which I built many years ago, and then the four plastic gourds that are hanging under each house complex. And within a couple of weeks, females will lay a clutch of nominally 5 to 6 eggs. Takes about 2 weeks, 16 days from the last egg that's laid until they all hatch pretty much in one day. And then after the eggs hatch, you have your little pink featherless little babies in there. 4 weeks later, they will have grown to full-size birds, ready to emerge from the cavities and make their first flights with the parent birds. So that's the cycle of purple martins, North America's largest swallows. There are about half a dozen or so members of the swallow family, and barn swallows, tree swallows, bank swallows, but they're all smaller than the purple martins. Okay, let's see if I can get a little closer. All right, plenty of activity today, and definitely quite a few more birds here this morning than we had yesterday. So another group has arrived from their migration back from Brazil to North America to this particular location. And these birds will be with us until early to mid-August. And then along with the new ones that are born this summer, they will start a migration back to South America, primarily Brazil. And that migration will take them 2 to 3 months travel time back to South America. Let's walk over here. There they go. They like to do that group flying together. Large groups of them will take off at once this time of year. And they're actually grabbing insects out of the air. They're doing morning feeding now also out over the waterway. There are plenty of insects in the air out over the water here and over the ground. They'll do morning feeding and then primarily afternoon, evening feeding, and then they'll rest, go back into the cavities for the night. This type of behavior will last for a few weeks, as I said, because once the females lay their eggs and start incubating the eggs, then obviously they're going to be spending most of their time inside the cavities and on the nests. And the male birds hang out outside each compartment. And then once the eggs hatch, then they have to get into a hectic feeding cycle to feed the little babies inside the houses. To give you some relative numbers, last year, my best guess is we fledged over 200 baby purple martins at our 3 sites here that we have, these 3 housing complexes. Now, you have to take into account there is a certain mortality rate. We're very fortunate here, like the survival rate is probably about 85 to 90%. Let me look up at these guys right under us. Okay, that's looking right into the sun, so I'll get over to the side a little bit. And there is the 3rd housing complex I have up here. When we built these houses many years ago, each site has 10 wooden house compartments and 4 plastic gourds, so 14 per location. So a total of 42 nests this summer we'll have up. And if this keeps up the way I see this morning, we're going to have close to 100% occupancy this season. Because I haven't spotted any of what we call SY birds, or second-year birds. Birds that would be making their first trip back to North America for their initial breeding season. And they usually start showing up here between middle of May to the middle of June. These are the more mature birds who have survived several round trips to South America and back. Okay, good people, that's a quick view of our purple martin colonies here on eastern Long Island this morning. And we'll keep an eye on these guys over the coming week as more and more birds arrive. It actually gets more hectic than what we see right now. Hey birds, you want to make one more flight for us? Show everybody what's going on here. Aha, we're doing a little low-level sweeping over the lawn too. That's interesting. Normally they don't do that until the evening hours in the summer. And there they go. A collective flight. Oh, there's got to be 3 or 4 dozen of them flying right now. Each male and female pair will claim a cavity for theirs, for the use for the summer. We call this the 5-star hotel accommodations here. Okay, everyone, thank you very much for watching this morning. And we'll be back on the air in another few days or so, weather permitting. Let me just back up a little bit, give you a general view of the area here on eastern Long Island. Pan up, tilt up I should say, excuse me. Show you these 2 main houses here. Hey birds, one more flight. Notice how tame they are. I'm standing no more than 10 feet away from them right now, and I don't bother them in the least. In fact, over the years, because these birds are ones that have returned here year after year, they're certainly used to my presence. And they will not nest where they do not see human activity, because they think of us as protectors against predators. As an example, this white cylinder you see at the base of the pole here is a predator guard. It keeps raccoons and feral cats from climbing up the pole. We have had a hawk problem here this spring, and also it was last summer. Marsh hawk, somebody has been coming through here, but the birds are pretty savvy to that. But unfortunately, during the season, you will lose a few of these purple martins to hawk predators to kind of sneak up on the colony here. But any bird who can do a round trip to Brazil and back, I'm pretty adept flyer, so they know how to escape predator birds. All right, everybody's getting nice and quiet now. That's good. Goodbye. All right, another communal flight out over the creek. Let's see how they fly back. Okay, folks, thanks for joining me this morning. Appreciate that, and we'll be back on the air again soon. Take care now.